Welcome to this session answering your questions about my practicing lecture. As part of my normal live lecture series, I always finish with a question and answer session which is really useful to clarify any points. It also gives people the opportunity to get advice on their personal work concerns, which is not only revealing but enormously encouraging and helpful. In that session, we all discovered that we really are all in the same boat, learning and discovering how to improve, how to work efficiently, enjoyably and productively. I have to say that filming the practicing lecture was such a strange experience for me. I really missed the live interaction with you all, seeing and hearing your responses and the feeling we have discussing music in a room together. Even this question and answer video feels quite weird. I really miss your presence in the room, and I'm not yet comfortable with the silence of a lone camera that doesn't respond to my jokes. I hope my perception of your questions has led to answers you find helpful. Many times the questions and answers lead to yet more questions and answers. So think of this lecture series as a whole cycle, and you will find interesting connections throughout the next couple of months. I really appreciate the comments and suggestions you sent in. They help me cover more ground and give me the chance to respond directly to your concerns and interests. The questions you ask also inspire how my lectures develop over the years. I go back over all my ideas, delve deeper and use your questions and ideas to build new lectures with my growing knowledge and experience. So, now to your actual questions. I received a really interesting question on scheduling from someone who has many interests around their first study, such as improvisation, arranging music, learning about music, etc. This person is concerned about how to fit all their interests in while having enough time for practicing their first study. They asked how to practically organize their week. They also have concerns about overwork and burnout. They asked about the complications of organizing their practice schedule given changing lesson times and practice room availability. It turns out this person has multiple questions within the scheduling question. When you have a really busy life, I find the best way to deal with these pressures is to get yet more organised. So to start with, set a weekly slot specifically for scheduling your week. For example, 1 hour every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. With all your appointment times and places laid out in front of you, write out your entire schedule, allowing for the time it takes to get from one place to another. Allocate time for your practicing and include the detail of exactly what you will practice within all 3 stages of your practice sessions. Having everything planned this way will also help ease your mind. Of course, we all know that things don't always go exactly to plan, so there are moments when you need to be imaginative and flexible. Experience will teach you how to be flexible and remain productive. Every week you will know better what works and what doesn't and how to improve your scheduling. But you do have to start somewhere. Don't forget, the purpose of my practice system is to make you learn faster and be more efficient and productive, which simply means you will increasingly learn to get more done in less time. Now, to the question about fitting in all other interests. This is all about priorities. Clearly, your first study practice takes priority. You simply must spend enough time on that to achieve your goals whilst a student at the academy. Other interests are secondary but can also be very important. In your schedule, you will need to find the slots for these, but again, you must prioritize among those subjects. And remember, all areas of study can be approached with my 3-stage plan. It's a way to learn efficiently, feeling energized and fully focused as you move between the stages. So apply this to other subjects and disciplines too. It's true that sadly we simply don't have enough time in life to do all the things we want. But while you are scheduling, realise you can do really good work in moments such as sitting on a bus or walking to the academy. If you schedule that time for specific tasks, you will find you'll have many more hours in the day than you expected. Remember also my air cello examples and the point I made about imagining yourself playing while you sit still. It's amazing how much you can learn while using these techniques, sitting in a corridor when you can't find a practice room. It's extremely valuable time. To answer your question about burnout, don't forget the 3-stage system builds in rest and recuperation time. The 20 minutes at a time method is designed to vary your pace, vary your use of energy, and vary the physical and mental demands in your practice session. It also allows you to recover from the demands of one area while you work in another. One more question this person asked. What do I think about practicing a consistent amount each day? Well, I think it's really good to have a regular daily practice session, if at all possible, holidays or during lockdown. As I said in the lecture, we are elite athletes. Fitness in mind and body is essential. Having a planned day off, perhaps once a week, is fine, but I wouldn't recommend more than that. Okay, so another person wrote in and said he agreed that having in-depth knowledge from great practicing and the ability to achieve some of what I call superhuman qualities led him to his best performing experiences where he was released from conscious thoughts and therefore felt free and creative. He asked, did I think this level of learnt awareness could also threaten invention and creativity in the moment? I really feel that the security of greater knowledge, including variety of experiences in music, is the structure that gives us the freedom to fly. It gives us the confidence and the space to forget ourselves and focus on living in the moment, being creative and communicative. As I said in the lecture, it takes practice to be creative, and it certainly takes practice to trust ourselves enough to forget about ourselves and be totally in the music. Do not fear, knowledge sets us free. 2 people wrote in about technical practice. One person said that I hadn't discussed scale practice in the lecture and where would I fit scales into the 3 stages. Another person said their routine includes 30 minutes of warm-up, technical exercises, and an hour on studies and aspects of technique in repertoire. They asked, would I advise against doing this and instead focus on technical aspects solely within the 3 stages where needs be, or should they still dedicate a certain amount of time every day to scales and technical practice? Scales and pure technical work are very important, and it's important to understand that my method is applicable to everything you practice. So you should work on scales within the 3-stage system. New scales for stage 1, scales you can basically play but need more refinement, greater knowledge and skill in stage 2, and performing them in stage 3. In the lecture I talked about choosing music repertoire for your 3 stages, but of course you can also choose scales, studies or technical work to go into your 3 stages. Remember that if you've assigned yourself a 2-hour practice slot, you work through stage 1, 2 and 3, and then you still have time to repeat the cycle. In this way, you can see that you could easily alternate plenty of technique and repertoire stages. To refer back to the specific question, I would not set aside warm-up time before you start the 3 stages. This is because I believe my system is more helpful and healthier than simply spending 30 minutes or more playing technical exercises every day, followed by practicing repertoire. As I said in the lecture, play a few minutes of music to get yourself physically warmed up and enjoying your sound, then get started on your 3-stage plan. After all, scale, studies, repertoire, it's all music in the end. Another very interesting letter came in from someone referring to my proposal to try playing phrases in quite extreme ways in order to discover what you like and don't like in the music. They asked if it was wrong to end up playing in a way that was not considered acceptable or true to the composer, or should one be able to express music however one feels it's right? I believe that looking at and experiencing music from as many perspectives as possible is like a sculptor seeing their work from all sides, from close and far, from above and below, and all around. The same for architects. In the end, the structures and the rules still apply. The treatment of the materials, the laws of physics have to be adhered to, but we are captivated by the individuality of the final creation. As performers, we are the recreators. We must honour the composer's creation and adhere to their wishes in the utmost detail. The deeper our understanding of their ideas and the flexibility or lack of flexibility in their creation, and the more we love their music, the better our communication of it will be. Therefore, we have to search for what we love within the strict guidelines. I believe anything outside of their rules devalues their composition. My methods are not encouraging a rebuilding of the music, but to help you search deeper and find greater love in what is actually there. Practicing orchestral excerpts was a question from another student. They wrote that sometimes the orchestral excerpts they prepare have all the bowings and fingerings marked in, which they need to follow. So which of the 3 stages should they put their excerpts into? I would recommend using all the 3 stages for your excerpts. In stage 1, of course, you won't need to find the fingerings and bowings, but you will still need to work slowly through and get to a point where you can play quite fluently. Then you move to stage 2 to explore more and stage 3 to perform. The final question was also very encouraging. This person said that sometimes in stage 2 they get really into the music just as the 20 minutes is up. They asked if they still have to move on to stage 3 or can they stick with what they were doing while in that frame of mind. It's lovely to hear about you getting into the music. It's such an enjoyable time in practice. When the 20-minute timer goes off, I really urge and encourage you to move on to stage 3, however you feel, because not only is it the healthiest way, but it won't be long before your stage 2 practice comes around again, and you'll be all the more excited and ready to concentrate from the moment you start. I promise you that the more you work in this way, the sooner you'll be able to find your deep feelings of involvement right from the start of each stage. Remember, the better your brain is at focusing, the faster you learn and the more exciting your development will be. Thanks again for tuning in, and thank you for your really great questions. I must now get going with making the video for the next lecture, Memorising Music, which you can watch from Monday the 11th of May. Happy practicing and see you soon.